Good evening to everybody. I'm Sara Moscatelli. I'm the Vice Secretary of the International Young Academy of Cardiology, and I'm also the coordinator of the Pink IYAC. Today I have the honor to open and moderate this session about of the Pink IYAC that is going to deal about women in cardiology. Before starting, I would like to say that Pink IYAC is a subgroup of IYAC, and it was born just a few months after IYAC with the intent to create a place where women can feel free to express themselves and also they can find help to overcome the barriers that they found in their professional life. I have the pleasure to introduce Dr. Irina Kotlar, that is the Vice President of the International Young Academy of Cardiology. And I'm very pleased to moderate this section with her. Thank you, Irina.
Good evening, dear colleagues and friends. First of all, thank you for joining us on Friday night to follow our session. My name is Irina Kotlar-Velkova. I work at the University Clinic of Cardiology in Skopje, Republic of North Macedonia, and I'm honored to moderate this session together today with Dr. Moscatelli, where we will have the opportunity to follow the presentations of three amazing female cardiologists who will share their experience and their opinions on very important questions. So I want to welcome our first speaker, Professor Roxana Mehran, who works at the United States of America and who is internationally renowned interventional cardiologist and also clinical research expert in the field of cardiovascular disease. Professor Roxana, it's a great pleasure and privilege for us to have you with us today. Please welcome.
Hello, my name is Roxana Mehran from Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai in New York City. I'm absolutely honored to be part of the International Young Academy of Cardiology e-Congress 2020. Thank you for having me. Today I was asked to discuss women in cardiology, especially Women as One, the not-for-profit organization that myself, Rebecca Ortega, and Professor Marie-Claude Maurice have founded now almost 2 years ago. Please note my disclosures, although there are no significant disclosures about this except that I am a female interventional cardiologist, very passionate about women in cardiology to have an equal playing field with our male colleagues. Women in interventional cardiology have come a very, very long way. Current advances in meaningful dialogue on equal pay, supporting pregnancy, and early parenthood during training are really very important steps in a positive direction. And we're having those conversations live, even with the American Board of Internal Medicine. The presence of women at the table really serves to energize other women to join the discussion and rally for our collective cause. I hope you understand that we are small in numbers, but we're making very big impact. Here's some of the historical evidence. This is Dr. Elizabeth Blackwell. Maybe she doesn't mean anything to you, but she is very, very significant. In 1849, at the age of 28, she graduated at the top of her class, becoming the first woman in the United States to achieve a medical degree. Remember, to put this into the context of what was going on at that time, in 1849, women in America still did not have the right to vote. So this was significant. Since then, we're seeing female medical students, even in 1895, here on the left, dissecting a cadaver, the first class of women admitted to the Harvard Medical School, sitting together at the steps of the Gordon Hall. Here in 1945, you can see there are really, really important advances that have been taking place over the years. Take a look at what's going on in the United States in 2018. The medical school graduates are more than 50% female. Medical residents are 45% female. But when we get to cardiology and interventional cardiology, cardiovascular disease physicians, we're now going into the teens. What's happening? Where are the women going? Why are they not choosing cardiology? Well, a lot of it has to do with what's going on in the faculty in the U.S. medical schools. In fact, women are occupying less than 25% of the seats as a professorship, 75% of the professors are men. But if you look in the instructor position and in the lower levels of academic ranking, women occupy a large number of those seats. How do we break these barriers? If you look at representation of women in cardiovascular clinical trial leadership, you're seeing a very few women who are having female investigators or on leadership committees. We have to make these changes. On the guidelines, we're coming a little bit further. The blue is the current guidelines, but previously we were underrepresented. And now there's a lot of work going into place to try to actually have equal representation of men and women on the writing committees. If you look at 2008 to 2017, we've made some important impact. 18% of participants in the current, only 10% in the previous past. And it's really, really important to get them as chairs, not just as writing committee, because that's all the work and none of the big glory. If you look at NIH funding, we're seeing a very, very important gap in differences in funding by NIH standards to female investigators. We absolutely must break these barriers. This is incredibly important because grant funding is a very important way to get academic ranking in your institution. Importantly, the funding is very, very well described that the top 10 grant funds are being given, most of them in the top 10 universities in the first between 2006 and 2011 are really being given to men. And females are less often landing these important funding opportunities. What about the pay gap? That's also incredibly important. If you look at a 35-year-long career, women are losing about $1 to $6.3 million in wage gaps in cardiology alone here in the United States. Things must change. We cannot have, there should be equal pay for equal work on every level, whether it's at the instructor level or all the way up to full professorship, and depending on what women are doing, especially cardiologists, who are supposed to be the high earners in medicine, given the amount of work, the amount of training, and the number of hours they spend working and away from their families. If you take a look at the important change in professional lives of cardiologists, career satisfaction has been very little change over the last 2 decades. And it's really important to note that women continue to face higher discrimination. They continue, especially for cardiologists, not to have children, requiring childcare, and so often remaining single. This is difficult for women. Men are also now balancing career and family and are less likely to travel professionally. So there's a change in how our society is working in shared parenthood and making sure that those responsibilities in the home are also being shared by our by spouses that are male. There are important forces of change working very, very hard to make these changes possible. Take a look at what's going on about the women who are presidents or distinguished scientist awards. There's tremendous number of women in this pipeline. We need to look up and know and be inspired by these women who during these very difficult times, as I just described to you, been able to achieve greatness. It really is very, very well possible. If you look at the females of leaders of today, we're seeing presidents. Never before did we see the baton of a president being, a female president being passed to a president-elect who's also a woman. That's happening this year by Athena Pappas and Dr. Dipti Aditya from the American College of Cardiology, a female president and a female vice president. And it really is incredible that there are clinical trial leaders who are women as well, who have done incredible contributions in the field of cardiovascular disease. So it is absolutely possible to be able to achieve greatness despite all of the discrimination that has been placed upon us. Leading the charge are some of these women who are dealing with some of the important sex-related differences in cardiovascular disease, in looking at acute myocardial infarction in women, led by Lakshmi Mehta, adverse cardiovascular outcomes in women with non-obstructive coronary disease, spontaneous coronary artery dissection, and ischemia with no obstructive coronary disease, led by Dr. Martha Gulati, Dr. Jackie Saw, Dr. Noel Berry-Mertz. These are incredible leaders charging, leading the charge in treating women with heart disease. Women in interventional cardiology were very small in numbers. This is Dawn Abbott from Brown University. She is an incredible leader, head of the Sky Win with Dr. Alexander Lansky. Dr. Selena Young working and breaking the cath lab ceiling at Stanford University. Dr. Anu Kinney as the highest operator interventional cardiologist in New York, man or woman in the world, but most likely in most of the men, she's really up there in the numbers that she's treating the patients with. We've also done a lot of work with our societies, the Society of Cardiac Angiography and Intervention. SKY WIN initiative was one that myself and Dr. Alaide Kiefo founded, and it was to foster professional development, education, collaboration, and research by and behalf of women in interventional cardiology and their patients. We're very, very thrilled that this is now in its 15th year, doing extremely well around the globe and continuing its success. Furthermore, the European Association of PCI also are lobbying for better representation of women in interventional cardiology community, and the European Society of Cardiology and the EAPCI has embraced women in this role to be sure that they become leaders, the future leaders, the current and future leaders in the European Society of Cardiology. These women are working hard to change this invisible army of women into a visible mark for everyone to note and follow. I'm so very proud of them. Now, what we have done, myself, Professor Marie-Claude Maurice, and Ms. Rebecca Ortega, we have worked very, very hard to promote equity in medicine through the channel of Women as One. This is a not-for-profit 501c3 charity organization in the United States. Our mission is to aim to broaden and promote the global talent pool in medicine by providing unique professional opportunities to female physicians. How do we go? By doing things differently. We stop complaining and we're working on action plans. The objectives are to unite women in specialties where they're underrepresented, creating a single infrastructure to support change. We're working very closely with European Society of Cardiology, American Heart Association, American College of Cardiology, the World Heart Federation, and multitudes of Italian Congress, the GISE Congress, the Argentinian Society, the CASI, the Brazilian Society of Cardiology. We are working around the globe with every society who wants to work with us. We're developing innovative, compelling programs which serve to advance women in medicine. I'll talk about our CLIMB program, our Escalator Awards. We're leveraging lessons from other industries, incorporating what works in tech, what works in outside of our bubble of medicine. We need to learn from others, and we're matching the right women to the right opportunities. We're doing this with a clear vision for the future to expand into additional specialties where women are underrepresented. This is not just in cardiology or interventional cardiology. We are conducting outreach activities to medical schools, colleges, high schools. We're connecting women in medicine with women in business, and we're just being a catalyst for a more diverse, inclusive ecosystem in scientific assessment. There's no red tape. Decisions are streamlined. The time to act is now. Women as One is the global glue that unites the houses of medicine and provides the platform for change. We do high quality of work. All of these programs and promotional activities are developed with the highest quality production, and the goal is to compel and catalyze. We do this through our talent directory, and I urge you all to get on there and put your name on there if you want to be recognized, if you want to be called upon, if you want to be able to join the community of women who are working to promote you. Join. That's very, very simple. I want to introduce you to this one fund, the thing that we're extremely excited about. We are seeing the wage gap, we're seeing the investment gap, and the entrepreneurial gap for women. We want to address this in a very, very good way, and we want to do this through the fund. What is this? It's a charitable giving campaign soliciting donations towards a brokerage fund, the One Fund, that has to grow with angel investment efforts to support women physician entrepreneurs. We're hoping and will raise about $200,000 by December of 2020. So every dollar counts. Don't feel bad if you're only going to give $5, $10, $15. The more the merrier, but if you give us just whatever funding you can give us, it's perfect. And we will launch this to initiate. The key goals is to invest in female entrepreneurs, create reciprocal culture of investment, raise the financial profile of women, empower these innovative ideas, and invest in the next generation of female leaders. We know we can do it. That's just one of the avenues. We also have the CLIMB program, where we will do highly specialized skilled training for women in interventional cardiology or other subspecialties to help them climb the ladders. And we have the Escalator Award that also helps them with funding to focus on their important research. The only way forward is if we work together. And we know we can do this through Women as One. It's the as one idea that will make us absolutely break these ceilings and gain equitable ground with our male colleagues and promote leadership for women in medicine. Thank you so much for your attention and for having me in this very important Congress.
Thank you very much, Dr. Roxana, for this amazing presentation and for giving such a comprehensive picture of women in cardiology. And I want to thank you again for creating Women X One. It's a great opportunity for all the women in cardiology. And I embrace the motto, stop complaining and start acting. But now it's time to present the second speaker of this section. I have the pleasure to introduce Dr. Alessia Gimelli from Italy. She's not only the chief of the nuclear department unit of the hospital in Pisa, but she's also the vice president of the CDI and the president of the section, the nuclear NCT section of the ESC. Thank you very much, Alessia, for accepting this invitation. Welcome to the IYAC section.
Dear Irina, dear Sara, first of all, let me thanks for inviting me in such a wonderful program and meeting. It's really an honor for me to be here. I must admit that when I saw for the first time the title of this presentation, I say, okay, this is a big challenge, but I'll try to do my best. So I would like to share with you my experience in leadership, because last year I won an ESC grant and have the opportunity to spend 1 week in the Oxford University, in the Said Oxford University, for the Woman Transforming Leadership program. It's a sort of course related to how we can improve our leadership as a women, and it was an incredible course with incredible faculty, and we had the opportunity to spend 1 week not only between cardiologists but with 80 women from all around the world with a different background, with different knowledge, and we have the possibility to learn a lot from different ideas and different backgrounds. So it was very important. And the first take-home message that I get is that when women who hold a senior position have the possibility to benefit from the organization Women's Program, they are committed to paying forward by helping younger women to come up. And that's really the same for me. So I have this great opportunity. It's very important for me to share these ideas and my knowledge with other women in order to enhance their visibility, reputation, and networks. It's really very important point. But in order to increase the visibility, the reputation, networks with other women, we have to come back a little bit in order to understand how we can do that. So we need to analyze which is the situation in actually in the world about the leadership, the woman leadership. And we can say that apparently we have reached very good results, because about 30% of senior management roles are held by women. And it was strange, it was, if we compare these results with the how many men are named John, and we can in the US, and we say that there are fewer women in leadership position than there are men named John. So it was very strange. And it's very strange if we analyze the situation in Canada, where men continue to hold 90% of C-level executive roles. So we need to change in some way this situation. How we can do that? We can change the perception that we have about women in this leadership position, because sometimes women are penalized when they behave in ways that violate gender stereotypes. So we need to change this perception, and we need to start from women versus other women. It's a very, very important point. Probably it's the best point that we need to learn from our experience. We need to change the perception that we have about the women in leadership position. But we can do that because during the COVID crisis, we can say that for women that are the female leaders of 4 different countries have offered strong example of leadership during crisis. Angela Merkel from Germany, Tsai Ing-wen from Taiwan, Jacinda Ardern from New Zealand, and Mette Frederiksen from Denmark. So 4 different countries, 4 different type of women, but with a very, very strong leadership in during this time of crisis. So we have to learn from them, and we have to say that we need to learn something different in our background. So we need to learn how we can use our leadership, but before that, what is the leadership? Leadership is, we have 2 different definitions, but it's very important for us. Leadership is creating the condition for individuals, team, and organization to succeed. But personality predicts leadership and affects the performance of a team. So who we are is how we lead. This point is very, very important. So before starting to be a leader, we need to know who we are. So leadership is strongly related to self-awareness. And so the ability to self-monitor and have an accurate perception of our strengths and weakness is one of the biggest predictors of our success and of successful leaders. And if we analyze the research, the emotional intelligence research, it shows that awareness and self-management is the key to professional and managerial effectiveness. So we need to learn ourselves. We need to understand how we are and how we can improve analyzing our strengths and our weakness before starting to be a leader and before starting to help someone else. How we can create our leadership. So after understanding what is the leadership, we need to evaluate our climate, our engagement, and the results. How to create your own leadership. You need to analyze yourself, you need to imagine yourself like a coin, like a medal with two different faces, and you have the possibility to use in different situations one of the opposite face. Gentleness, of course, you have to use kindship or strength, you have to be trust, you have to be competitive, you have to use good manners, or you have to use power. So diplomacy, or you need to be ready to fight. So it's different situation, you can use two different face of your medal in order to have the better results. And why? You need to build a new community in order to create new voices and to give to other people the possibility to use their voices. Only in this way you have the possibility to create your environment and to create your new community to be a very good leader. So how you can do that? You can use the different faces of your medal if you analyze first your organization, and you need to analyze the very deep what is your organization, how you can improve your organization, what are the characteristics of your organization, what are the positive and negative attributes of your organization, how does leadership function here so that it works, how were the previous leadership, the positive and negative attributes of the previous leadership, and what's the contract between a leadership and a follower. That's a very important point. And then you can identify wicked problems that needs a wise remedy. So you need to understand all these points, and then at the end you have the possibility to create a new leadership, a new way to work with your team. How you can make it happen? You need to look for a solution. So you need to achieve the balance between strategy and innovation. You need to create learning environments. You need to create a balance between your opposite faces of the medal, and at the end you have your leadership. What is required of leadership at all levels across the organization to move ahead and to be the place where people want to come to work. This is very important, especially for women. But after that, you need to remember that you need to receive feedback from your colleagues. You need to be open to the feedback you receive. This is a very important. You need to be open to criticism, and you need to be open to other ideas, and in order to understand a little bit better what's your environment, which type of people you have all around you, what is the necessity of the other people, what are the necessities of other women. So this is very important in order to be willing to reflect on what you do and how you do it, and your impact on the others. So this is my last slide, and I would like to thank all of you for your attention, and I hope that this is enough for you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Dr. Gimelli, for sharing with us this wonderful presentation, and thank you for accepting our invitation. It was a great honor to follow your presentation. We will leave the discussion for the end, and now I would like to invite our third and last speaker for today, Dr. Jolanda Sabatino. It is a great pleasure for us to have her with us today. Dr. Jolanda works at the University of Magna Grecia in Italy, and today she will share with us a very interesting topic. Welcome, Jolanda.
Dear colleagues, I'd like to thank the International Young Academy of Cardiology for the kind invitation. Gender inequality does not just affect our patients. Women are still underestimated and undervalued in cardiology. Despite gender parity among medical students, only 21% of cardiology fellows in US and 16% in UK are women. Here you can find just some family planning considerations that a female cardiology must take in consideration during her career. While representation in general cardiology or echocardiography has risen slightly, less than 5% of women are interventional cardiologists. Women leak out of academia before reaching leadership positions. Even if women make up the majority of medical graduates, however, they comprise less than 43% of female PhD graduates and less than 28% of female researchers. Women cardiologists globally face daily challenges. And you see here last week through a Twitter poll, we asked about the main ones. As you can see, among 561 answers, unconscious bias favoring men reached 40%, childcare responsibility being the second most frequent choice. Other suggested reasons from the audience were asymmetric home responsibilities between men and women, lack of effective mentorship and role models for women, sex bias favoring men in peer review processes for publication and award achievement, and attrition of female academics at higher levels in the academic hierarchy. Even if not consciously endorsed, discrimination still runs rampant for women in cardiology. Stereotypes can shape the decision of those who determine who to admit, hire, promote, fund, and mentor in academic cardiology, and also influence individual cardiologists as they decide whether they fit in interventional or non-invasive cardiology, in research or clinical practice, or into the top leadership levels of academic cardiology. These barriers influence also the production of research. Women now surpass men as lead authors on publications, according to recent studies. But over 3 decades, the prestigious last positions, typical the domain of team leaders and department heads, has remained a male domain. In response to these barriers within cardiology, various initiatives have been created. The Pink Ladies project was initiated as a council under the International Young Academy of Cardiology, being a new and free of membership fee international group to promote the interest of all young female doctors working in the field of cardiovascular disease worldwide. These are the countries where the Pink Ladies are currently active. As you can see, despite the group was founded very recently, it has already a large reach. What makes Pink Lady different from the other groups is its first aim to build a community where women who experience difficulty can feel free to share their experiences and create networking. Since December 2019, monthly meeting where senior and young colleagues were brought together under a virtual platform started to be held and became the motor of the group. Indeed, the recruitment of talented young female researchers from across the globe has allowed the beginning of many research projects that are currently under revision. The first editorial project of the group has been done during the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, and an inaugural paper of Pink Lady has been launched addressing several useful topics on this field, such as the influence of pregnancy or COVID-19 mortality risk, the incidence of cardiomyopathy from COVID-19 during pregnancy, the breastfeeding issues, and also the difficulties of women working at the front line with patients. This other study from our group by Nunzia Borrelli aimed to explore female representation in leadership positions of cardiology departments of university hospitals in Europe between the 1st and the 15th of August 2020. Out of 727 cardiology departments in 21 countries, only 239, which is the 33%, had women heads of department. Moreover, you can see the majority of women were non-interventional experts. On further analysis below of female leadership representation in published research, we observed a significant gender disparity in the number of total publications. In conclusion, we cannot combat gender bias at the individual level alone, but must change the systems to close the gap. Here are some suggestions for female cardiologists and Pink Ladies. Build networks, collaborations, friendship. Make your voice be heard. Build a strong support team. Don't simply act like men to succeed in male gendered roles. Visible female roles, female role models are needed. Promote others, give credit and take blame. Avoid toxic situations, stay calm, build bridges. And finally, be the mentor you wish you had. And this last slide to remember, when women support each other, incredible things happen. And thank you all for your attention.
Dr. Sabatino, thank you very much for this presentation. I was very pleased to hear such beautiful words about Pink IYAC, and also to see this beautiful presentation that actually summarized the point of view of a young female cardiologist. So thank you very much. Unfortunately, for the discussion, Professor Mehran couldn't stay with us for some professional other appointments that she had. So we're gonna have this moderation with Dr. Gimelli and Dr. Sabatino.
I would like to thank you again to our speakers, although the Professor Roxana Mehran could not join us for the live discussion. And I would like to thank again to Dr. Gimelli for sharing her interesting presentation and her insights about being a female leadership in the cardiovascular field. Of course, knowing our strengths, but also knowing how to use them will help us in gaining confidence, which is, I believe, a crucial component in the chain of the leadership. So despite the progress that women achieved in the last decade, we are aware that we still fall behind compared to our male counterpart. As Dr. Gimelli said, when women climb successfully toward the imagined goals, there are always some obstacles, and unfortunately, we're always facing these gender stereotypes, which are still present, and this has to change. So I have one question for Dr. Gimelli. Becoming a great female leader, is it a question of natural talent, or it is more a question of hard work? Because I personally believe that if you want to become a leader, you need to have a natural born talent and some characteristics like being strong, being extrovert, compassionate. You need to be able to see the whole picture in front of you and to be a decision maker. What do you think about this?
Oh, thank you for this question. It's very complicated to try to answer. I think that you are right. You need to be a sort of coin, like I say in my presentation, because you need to have different characteristics, in the sense that sometimes you need to be compassionate, you need to be strong, you need to use a different type of your behavior, adapting it to different situation. So you need to, as Jolanda said, we don't use we do not use the same model of men in terms of leadership, but we need to use our model, because we are real multitasking, because we have a family, we have a child, we have lots of things to do during our day, and so we have the possibility to be a big leader. But we need to work very hard, because we have lots of problems in front of us. And sometimes as a woman, I must say that other women are sometimes the problem. So we need to be like a man in this way. We need to try to work together with other women without any problems. So we are together, and we are not fighting each of us. We are not to be the leader every time. Sometimes I'm a leader, but the other times you will be the leader in the same situation. So we need to adapt in this situation. And more than this, we need to be we need to be a mentor for young women. Yesterday, I read a very interesting sentence that Julia Grapsa wrote. So if we would like to be a mentor, a leader, we do not to write the history, but we need to teach to young people how to write the history. So this is the difference between a leader and a mentor. So we need to work all together, teaching to young female how to perform a good job.
Thank you very much. That was a wonderful and very, very inspiring answer. Sara, do you have anything to add on?
I want to thank Dr. Gimelli as well for this answer. Actually, I think that at the moment, as Oriana Fallaci said, this is a word built by man for man, and there is no space for us. But I have to say that in your presentation, you advocate a lot of ways where we can put ourselves in our mode and start to build ourselves a world for us. And in this way, avoid to be like called cheerleader or whatever with any kind of nickname when we express ourselves. I know that you have highlighted a lot of points in your presentations, but what do you think is the first one from the one that we have to start with from?
We need to start to be ourselves. So we need to don't use any other model, because you are the model of yourself. You need to think about which are the best characteristics of yourself in order to start from this, and you are to potentiate your positive characteristics in order to use them for fighting about the problems that you have in front of you. So don't think about other people, don't think about other men, but think about yourself, because you have all the potentiality to be a leader. And I think that you need to work on yourself, to think about your strengths, about your weakness, and to potentiate everything that you have in order to be a leader. So don't think about, Alessia is something that I need to be like her because she is in this way. No, because I'm in this way, but you are better than me because you are younger than me and you have the possibility to do a lot of things that I cannot do anyway. So you have all the potentiality to be better than everything because you are young, you have a lot of things to do, and you have in yourself all the possibility for doing everything you want, but you need to be sure that you can do it.
Thank you. I think that your words really change my way to see things, and also I think of many younger women. So I really appreciate what you're saying and this experience that you are sharing with us. So I will move to Jolanda. Jolanda, thank you again for your presentation. I have a question for you because you are a very young and great cardiologist. I've seen you work very hardly for the Pink Ladies and achieving very important goals. If you have to give an advice to a young female future cardiologist that doesn't want to be only a good clinician, but maybe wants to do research, which is the best advice that you could give to her?
Hi, dear Sara and Irina. First of all, I would like to thank again you and the organizing committee for the possibility to join this amazing Congress, I have to say. There is no simple answer to your question, unfortunately. For me, it has been important going abroad as a research fellow, since I think this is a unique experience to improve certain skills and to count on your own capacities. Then you have to choose the right mentors. And another suggestion may be to build networks, as I said before, collaborations, friendship with people at the same stage of your career or with senior researchers from other countries also. And moreover, keep trying, don't lose confidence on yourself when there will be difficulties, because scientific research, academia, cardiology in general require a constant competition in which rejection is the norm for fellowship, publication, grants. So one thing that great researchers have in common is perseverance. And finally, you need to have a passion for what you do. Be curious, read a lot.
Thank you. Thank you very much, because you've done very, very good suggestion, particularly the perseverance. I think it's very important because I have to say that I failed a lot, and I know that I will fail again. But what makes me continue is my perseverance and also my passion. And the mentor is absolutely important. I know that unfortunately not everybody can have this fortune to have a mentor, but I also think that thanks to this globalization through the networking, we have the possibility also to listen to mentors of other university or of our other countries that can give us suggestions. So yeah, I absolutely believe also in the figure and the mentor. Also, if now with this internationalization, maybe the figure is changing a little bit because you can find a mentor far away and you can be in touch with them. But thank you very much. Do you have something to add, Irina?
Yes. First of all, I would like to thank again to Dr. Jolanda. Thank you for your interesting and colorful presentation. It's a pleasure for us always to have a young, devoted and successful cardiologist with us as you are. So we've seen that the road is really hard. We are facing many barriers and obstacles at the beginning of our career, of our training, but we're facing obstacles on all the road, all the way that we have. So knowing this, how do we attract young female physicians to join cardiology and choose cardiology as their lifetime career? What do you think?
Yes, I think there aren't many disciplines that show such a rambling number of studies, new drugs, devices, such as cardiology. It is continuously rapidly evolving specialty, and it includes a variety of techniques, disease, subspecialties, and if that is not enough to attract young female physicians, there are many initiatives that international organizations such as IYAC, Pink Ladies, Women as One can organize to motivate them, to promote them, and remove the barriers that I mentioned before. Also by using social networks that can reach almost everyone now. It might seem challenging to become a cardiologist, but we need to explain them that it's worth it.
Thank you. That's an amazing answer. I completely agree with you. I also believe that if you have the passion, if you love it, you're going to do it, no matter the price. So, Sara, do we have any questions from the audience so far? Because we're coming to almost to the end of our session.
No, I have to say that we don't have questions, but a lot of compliments from the audience to all the presenters. They are all thanking you for your words, and it's very fantastic, I think. So I think that we can go to the closing part of the section now.
Yeah, we've come to an end of our outstanding session, which was led by 3 renowned and influent women in the cardiology field. I want to thank you for sharing with us your insights about the struggle of the female cardiologist. We discussed the barriers, the obstacles that we're facing in our daily practice. We discussed the gender disparity in the academic level, and we also discussed the balance we need to achieve between the professional and the personal life. We also talk about the changes that we want to see in the near future. We were offered answers on how to overcome these obstacles if we want to climb to the top. We've learned that we need to speak up, we need to be present if we want to see institutional changes. I want to thank the audience for following our session. And I also want to thank to my great colleague and friend, Dr. Sara Moscatelli, because she came up with this brilliant idea of putting this brilliant session in the busy IYAC schedule. So stay safe, and let's hope that the next year we will have the opportunity to share our knowledge, our experience, and our passion in live session. Thank you very much, and goodbye.